Welcome to STEM School, solving quadratic equation by factorization. Factorization has two factors. So it means you would have x plus a number, alpha, x plus another number, beta. So the general equation for quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c, where y is equal to that. Or sometimes you might say fx equals y, which is the same thing as ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, we need to always write quadratic in this form. We'd start with the ax squared, which is the 2, which is the highest exponent, and then we go down to plus bx to power x to power 1 and cx to power 0. So the exponent will decrease from 2 to 0. I know I have c. C is actually cx to power 0, and dx is dx to power 1. Let's try and solve quadratic using factorization. The only way to do this is to write a question and then solve the question. So example 1. To solve by factorization, it will tell you when to solve by factorization. Not all quadratic can be solved by factorization. So let's look at factorization of x squared minus 8 equals to 2x. Now, in order to solve this quadratic, we need to make it look in its standard form. So this is a standard form of quadratic equation. That's the standard form of quadratic equation. So it has to look like that. So the best way is to rewrite this and say, okay, x squared, take 2x to the other side, that'll become minus because it's plus here. That'll be minus 2x minus 8 and equate to 0. Because when we're trying to solve quadratic, we're trying to find the value of x when y is 0. That's the point where it crosses the x-axis. Now to solve this, we need to recognize what a is. A equals 1, b equals minus 2, and c equals minus 8. Now we need to find AC. That means 1 times minus 8, which is minus 8. Now we need two numbers. When we multiply them together, we get minus 8, which is AC. And when we add them together, we get minus 2. So what we're saying is, with quadratic equation, the C is equal to product of two numbers. So let's say the two numbers are alpha times beta. That's what C is equal to. And then when we add alpha and beta together, alpha plus beta, they should be equal to B. So this one is called product, and this is sum. So the sum is equal to B, and the product will be equal to AC. So the way to start is you can start with 1 and 8. 1 times 8 is 8. If you add them together, you get 9. Even if you use minus or minus, you still will not get minus 2. Then you double this one. If you double this, that goes to 2. You have to half the 8, so that goes to 4. Okay. Can we add these two together? Can we multiply them to get 8? Yes. Can we add them together to get 2? Yes. If we have minus 4, 2 plus minus 4 is minus 2. B is minus 2. All we now need to do is put x in front of there and put x in front of there. So now we have 2x minus 4 will give us minus 2x. What we can do now is to replace the minus 2x with 2x minus 4. So what we're going to do is we get x squared. Now I'm going to replace this one here. I'm going to replace it with minus 2x. So I'll put plus 2x. So I'm replacing that one. Minus 4x. It will still give us minus 2x. Minus 8. So that's what we've done. Now what we need to do is factorize. Find common factor here. What is a common factor here? And the common factor will be x is common. Then I have x left, because x times x is x squared. Plus, I've got 2 left here. And I have minus, that's the minus here. Now I need to take a common factor here, so I'm taking minus 4 out. So I'll put 4 there. And I have x left, because minus 4 times x is minus 4x. The sign here will change because I've taken minus out. If I take minus out from a binomial, then the sign will change. In this case, it will become plus, and I have 2 left. Which means that I have got 2x, x plus 2 are the same, and that means I've done the right thing. I'm doing the right thing there. They have to be the same. If they're not the same, then it's not correct. So now the final factors will be x minus 4 and x plus 2. So x plus 2 is common. So x plus 2 is common, and x minus 4 is common. So now my equation will be equal to 0. My equation will be equal to 0. X plus 2 times x minus 4. If I multiply these two together, I will get back the function that we got earlier. So now I need to set x plus 2 equal to 0. So that means I'm going to have x plus 2 equal to 0. I'd set one of the factor to 0. And I take 2 to the other side. That'll become x equals minus 2. So that's one root. And then I need to set the other factor to 0. X minus 4 equal to 0. Take minus 4 to the other side. That becomes x equals 4. So that's the second root. If I want, I could actually expand this and then get back to that. Because if I expand these two, x times x will be x squared. X times minus 4 will be minus 4x. 2 times x will be plus 2x. 2 times minus 4 is minus 8. So you can see now that I've got x squared minus 4x plus 2x is minus 2x minus 8. So we've got the same thing back. I could sketch this curve if I wanted to. So to sketch the curve, I would have, let's assume. So to sketch the curve, I have x equals 4. So that's 2, 4 there. So that's 4. and this is minus 2 here. So those are the two roots. The intercept on the y-axis, where x crosses the y-axis, is the constant c, and the constant c here is minus 8, or you could say plus 2 times minus 4 is minus 8. Minus 4 minus 8, so this is minus 8. That's the point. And this is 4, 8. Don't forget, this is y-axis, this is x-axis. The equation of the x-axis is y equal to 0, and the equation of the y-axis is x equal to 0. So drawing the curve, I could find the turning point of the curve now. I need to know where the point is where it turns. So I know my 2 points, minus 2, 4, and 8. Those are my 3 points there. I need to find the turning point. The turning point is when x equals to minus b over 2a. And I've got b is minus 2, so I've got minus 2 over 2 times 1, which gives 2 over 2, which is 1. I need to find y when x equals 1. So my y will be, I need to go back to the function, and I put 1 squared minus 2 into bracket 1 minus 8, and that should give 1 minus 2 minus 8, which equals minus 9. So the turning point at the turning point, so I'll say at TP, which is the turning point, I would have the x to be x and y coordinate, and my x will be 1 and y is minus 9. So at the turning point, x is 1, y is minus 9. So minus 9 is, x is 1 here, this is 2, so 1, and minus 9 somewhere there. Right, so, and I know what my turning point is, and the curve should be drawn like this, so it goes like that, and not a perfect drawing, and then it goes there. So this is the minimum, that's the minimum at the turning point, which has a coordinate of 1 minus 9. And these are the two roots. So that's my alpha. That root is my beta. So beta equals 4, alpha equals minus 2, or you might say x equals minus 2, x equals 4. Those are my two roots. Right, so that's the first way of solving quadratic equation by factorization. Question 2. Solve x squared plus 4x minus 21 equal to 0 by factorizing. Solving means to find the value of x when y is 0. So basically this is y here. The actual equation is y equals x squared plus 4x minus 21. But we've made y equal to 0. That's the only time we can find the value of x when y is 0. The first thing we need to do is recognize that the function here, it's in its general standard state, standard form. And the standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, if we look at it, yes, x squared, x to the power 1, x to the power 0. So that's c minus 21. So now we need to write down the coefficient, where a equals to 1. This is 1 times x squared is x squared. B equals to 4, and c equals to minus 21. Now, to solve this by factorization, we need to write down alpha plus beta equals to b, which equals to 4. Alpha times beta equals to ac, which equals to 1 times minus 21 is minus 21. Now this is called summation, and this is product. So that's what we need to do. Now we don't need to find the value of alpha and beta. If we're going to multiply them together, let's start with 1 and 21. 1 times 21, if we add them together, we're not going to get 4. So if I triple this, if I double this, and I need to half 21, I'll get a decimal number. We don't want a decimal number, so I need to triple this. If I triple this, I have to divide 21 by 3. So that will give us 7. Which means I can now, what can I do to 3 and 7 to get 4? Well, if I add, so what I can do is put minus 3 here, plus, and if I put x here and I put x there, and that will give me 4x, and that's what I need. So I need to take this back into the equation and replace the 4x by minus 3x plus 7x. So, and I have x squared minus 3x plus 7x minus 21 equal to 0. So this is my 4x, and that's my 4x. So I've just replaced there. Now find a common factor here. X is a common factor. X out. I will get x minus 3. X times x is x squared. X times minus 3 is minus 3x. I'll bring down my plus sign. What's common between 7x and minus 21 is 7. X minus 3. X times 7 is 7x. 7 times minus 3 is minus 21, all equal to 0. So what's common here? I can see common factor are x minus 3, and what's left is x and plus 7. So what I'm going to write down is the factors here. X plus 7 and x minus 3 all equal to 0. I need to set these to 0, so I get x plus 7 equal to 0, and therefore x equals to minus 7. I need to set that to 0, x minus 3 equal to 0, and therefore x equals to 3. So these are my two solutions, my roots. So that's the answer, basically. X equals minus 7, x equals 3. But if you want to sketch this curve, we can. To sketch this curve, all I need to do is, let's do it here. I could do it here. Right, so I need to calibrate this. So I want to go 2, 4, 6, 7. So that would be 8, sorry. So minus, 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 minus. 0 there, 2, 4, 6. And so I need to put my point in minus 7. That's my root. And 3. is there. So that's 3 and minus 7. Also, the intercept on the y-axis. So the y-axis is here. If we just extend that line, that's the y-axis. And the equation of the y-axis is x equal to 0. And this is the x-axis, and the equation of the x-axis is y equal to 0. Because the line is crossing y equal to 0. So this is 0 here for y, and this is 0 here for x. Now, also I need to find my turning point. The intercept, I know what the intercept would be, minus 21. So that will be the intercept. C is the intercept, always, on the y-axis. So that means it crosses y at minus 21. So to get minus 21, I have to make these, maybe this is 10, minus 20, minus 30. So minus 21 is here. Minus 25 is here, so that's minus 21. So that's minus 21. So it will cross at minus 21. Also, I need to find the turning point. The turning point will be x equals minus b over 2a. That's the formula to use to calculate the turning point. So when x is minus 4, x equals minus 4 over 2, because b is 4, so that's minus 4, and a is 1, 2 times 1. And that will give minus 4 over 2, which equals minus 2. So x is minus 2. We need to find the value of y when x is minus 2. And y is x squared plus 4x minus 2. And if I replace x with minus 2, and now I will get 4 minus 8 minus 2 minus 21, by the way, minus 21, and that will give me minus 25. So y equals minus 25. So at the turning point, the coordinate is minus 2 minus 25. So I need to come here, this is minus 2, come down to minus 25. So my curve will, if to sketch my curve now, it will go like this. So it's going to come somehow this way, all the way there, and minimum there, and then go all the way back up to there. So now the turning point is here. So that's a turning point, which is the minimum. In this case, it's minimum because a is positive. A is plus 1. If a was negative, it would be an N shape. And this curve is called parabola. So that's a parabola. And the roots are, so you got the roots there. That's your root. That's your roots. So the roots are also called solution. So that's a solution and that's a solution. So this is your root. Your roots are x equals minus 7, x equals 3. And that's the curve. So we need to factorize 3x squared plus 4x minus 5 and sketch. We first of all make sure this is in the standard form of quadratic, and it is. I've got the x squared first, and then you got the x to the power 1 and x to the power 0. So this is the standard form. If it's not, we need to make it standard form. In this case, we need to factorize, so we need to find, first of all, we need to write a equals 3, b equals 4, and c equals minus 15. We need to find AC. Remember, AC is going to give me alpha and beta, and B should be alpha plus beta. So I want my I want my alpha and beta. So AC in this case would be 3 times 15. 15 is 45. So the 3 times minus 15 is minus 45. So I want minus 45 here. What can I multiply together to give me minus 45? Best is to start with 1 and 45. Well, if I add them together, I'm not going to get B, and B should be equal to 4. If I double 2 and 45, no, 3 and 45, well, I could have 3 and 15, but if I add them together, will I get 4? No. Should I go for 5 and 9? So I could have 5 and 9. Now 5 times 9 is 45, which means if I take away one from the other, I should get 4. So I want these to be minus and that to be plus. And that meant I would have x here and I'll have x there. So that should give me 4x. So I need to replace my 4x with minus 5x plus 9x. So when I'm writing my equation down, I'll be writing 3x squared minus 5x plus 9x minus 15. It doesn't matter how you write it. You could put 9 here first and 5 there first. So it doesn't matter how you do it. Most people would do it this way. They would do 3x squared plus 9x, because 3 and 9, there's a good factor out of that, minus 5x minus 15. So there's a good factor out of those as well. So let's take a common factor out. 3x is common here, 3x is common there. So I would have 3x, open bracket, x plus 3. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 3 is 9x. And I'll take minus 5 out. So put that minus there and put 5 out. And I'll get x minus 3 as well. As you can see, x plus 3, no, sorry, x. So this will be x plus 3 because I'm taking minus out, minus 5 out. That sign will change because I'm putting into brackets. So the sign will change to plus, because if I expand it back, minus 5x and minus 3, minus 5 times 3 will be minus 15. So, but also you can see that x plus 3 is there, x plus 3 is there, so that means I'm doing okay. So now I got 3x minus 5 is one factor, and the other factor is x plus 3. So what I have to do is set that one to 0. So I get 3x minus 5 equal to 0. Therefore, 3x equals 5. So I move 5 to the other side, or add 5 to both sides and divide both sides by 5. X equals by 3. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 5 over 3. I need to set that one to 0. That means x plus 3 equal to 0. I've got x equals to minus 3, and that's the answer there. So it says factorize, it didn't say solve. When it says factorize, this is a factor. This is a factor here. I've done a factorization really. So that equals 3x squared. If you multiply them, 3x times 3, 3x squared. 3x times 3, that would be plus 9x minus 5x times minus 5 times x minus 5x minus 5 times 3 is minus 15. And that all together will give you 3x squared plus 4x minus 15. So those are the two factors. But because it says on sketch, it literally means you need to equate that to 0, really. So you have to set this to 0. Once you've done the factor, you have to equate it to 0. In order to, and then you can set it to 0 and then find the value of x. So then we can sketch it. So this is here is the sum, product, and here is the sum. So we always look for product and sum. Now let's try and sketch it. Now x equals to minus 3 and 5 over 3, put that on. 5 over 3 would be 5 divided by 3, which is standard decimal 1.67, so 1.7 roughly. Now we need to find those points, so that's roughly 1.7. So this is 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. And let's assume assume that this is 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Right. The equation of the y-axis is x equal to 0. The equation of the x-axis is y equal to 0. So this is x-axis and this is y-axis. That's minus y and that's plus y minus x. Now what I need to do now is to put the points in. 1.7, this is 1.7, 5, 6, 7, that's 1.7 there. That's one root. That's one root there. The other root is minus 3. That's minus 3 there. That's when y equal to 0. When y equal to 0, these are the roots. The roots are called the solutions. The intercept on the y-axis is minus 15. So I have chosen the wrong calibration here for y. I need to change that to 5 minus 10, minus 15, and that'll be 5, 10, 15. That's a better calibration. Now I need to, so minus the intercept here on the y-axis is minus 15. So this is a point it crosses. Now I need to find the turning point. The turning point. That means at the turning point, x equals to minus b over 2a. That's what x is at the turning point. And therefore, to find that, and that will be equal to, let's see, b is 4, so that will be minus 4 over 2 times 3. A is 3. And that will be minus 4 over 6, right? Because 2 times 3 is 6, which becomes minus 2 over 3. So 2 divided minus 2 over 3 is y at the turning point. It's x at the turning point. Minus 2 over 3. So 2 divided by 3, if I punch that into that, 2 divided by 3, I get 0.6 or 0.7. So 0.7 of x minus will be somewhere here. So that will be 0.7. But I need to find the value of y. Well, the value of y will be 3 into bracket 0. Let's put it as into bracket 0. I could just do minus 2 over 3 actually. Minus 2 over 3 squared plus 4 into bracket minus 2 over 3 minus 15. So what do I get? Well, 2 minus 2 to the power 2 is 4. So 4 over 9 times 3. 4 times 3 is 12. That's 12 over 9. Minus 4 times 2 is minus 8 over 3 minus 15. Use a calculator to do it actually, and then find the value of y. So I will just do fraction 12, 9 minus fraction 8, 3 and minus 15. So that's minus 49 over 3, minus 49 over 3, and that would be the y value. Standard to decimal is minus 16.3. So it's somewhere when x is 0.7 and y is minus 16. So it's somewhere there. So what I need to do now is to draw my curve. So it should go like that, all the way there, and all the way there, and all the way there. So that's my intercept and my at the turning point. At the turning point, TP, my coordinates are x is minus 2 over 3, comma, and y is minus 49 over 3. So those are that's the at the turning point, that's my, so that point there. So that's the minimum. And the roots are x equals minus 3 and x equals 5 over 3. So the factors, when we're told to factorize it, so the factors are 3x minus 5 and x plus 3. Question 4. We got in a scientific experiment, the temperature up to T degrees centigrade Celsius is modeled. Question 4. In a scientific experiment, the temperature T degrees centigrade is modeled by the equation T equals minus 2h squared plus 13h minus 20, where h is the time in hours from the start of the experiment. Find both times at which the temperature is 0 degrees. So what we need to do here is we need to set T equal to 0, because that's what this is saying here. Temperature is 0 degrees. So you have to set the temperature to 0. And from the equation we've got, we can then say minus 2h squared plus 13h minus 20 equal to 0. So what I need to do is multiply both sides by 0. If I multiply both sides by minus 1, multiply both sides by minus 1. So if I times that by minus 1 times that, I will get 2h squared, so that makes it positive. Minus 1 times minus 2h squared is 2h squared, minus 13h plus 20 equal to minus 1 times 0 is still 0. So that's how to make, if you're to solve when the coefficient of x squared is negative, you can always multiply by minus 1 to turn it into positive. So the quadratic here is ax squared plus bx plus c, where my a is 2, b is minus 13, and c is 20. So now this is the equation I need to solve for h. So this is similar. So in this case, my x is h. So that's what it is. And my y is t. So that's what's going on here. So that's why you got y equals to another way to write this is, you could write this as, this is f, instead of saying fx, because my x is h, so we say fh equal to, right, so my function, my t is a function of h, not x, because the x has been replaced with h. So I need to solve this, solving it by factorization. First of all, I need to find my alpha plus beta, and that will be equal to the b, and my b is minus 13. I also need to find my alpha, minus 13 is b, and my alpha times beta, that will be equal to my AC. That will be equal to alpha times beta equals AC. and that should be equal to A is 2 and C is 20, so that will be 40. Now I need two numbers I could multiply together. I need two numbers I could multiply together. I'll get alpha and beta. And if I multiply alpha and beta, I'll get 40. And if I add alpha and beta, I get minus 13. So in this case, I'll start with my alpha and beta. Doesn't matter which way you write it, beta, alpha. Now, I could start with 40, 1 and 40. If I add 1 and 40, I don't get minus 13, so it wouldn't go. I could double. I could go to 2 and 20, still no good. 3 wouldn't go. 4 and 10, no good. I'm going for, so 6, no good. 7, no good. Well, 8 and 5. So 8 times 5 is 40. So 8 and 5 is good, but I need minus 13. So if I have minus 8 and minus 5, minus 8 times minus 5 is plus 40. So that's good, which means I need to put my x here, and then h. I need to put my h here and h there. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to bring it in here and replace my minus h, minus 13, with 8 and 5. I want to put the 5 next to 8 and then put the 8 next to 2. So I will write 2h squared. All right, minus 8h minus 5h plus 20 equal to 0. So I have replaced minus 13h with minus 8h and minus 5h. So now I can factorize these. So 2h is common in both of these first two terms. So I would get 2h out. I get h. 2h times h is 2h squared. Minus, I'm taking 2h out, so I should get 4. 2h times minus 4 is minus 8h. I have minus 5, minus there. I need to take 5 out. I'm going to be left with h. Minus 5 times h is minus 5h. Because there's a plus here and I'm taking a minus out, so that plus will turn into minus. And minus 4, because minus 5 times minus 4 is plus 20 equal to 0. So now I have two factors. These factors are the same, so there's a common factor there. So one of my factors is h minus 4. It's a factor. And the other factor is 2h minus 5. So that'll be 2h minus 5. So just to remind you again, this is sum equals b, and the product, so this is product, equals AC. Now that's what we've been using. Sum equals b in factorization and product equals AC. Now all that equal to 0. I need to set that to 0. So h minus 4 equal to 0, and therefore h equals to 4. Also, I'll set that to 0. 2h minus 5 equal to 0. H equals to 5 over 2, which is 2.5. So we've it says find both times, so H is time, 4 hours and 2.5. So we don't need to sketch in this case, but we could sketch if we want to, but we don't need to sketch. But what we need to say is that we can say, so the temperature is 0 degrees centigrade after 2.5 hours, because that's what the units are, 4 hours and 2.5 hours. So let's just write that down, 2.5. Okay, and that's 4, that's H hours, and again after 4 hours.